Alright, so I'm gonna just go ahead and start the thing now. Ooh. That seems a little soft to me. Let me move that closer to my mic. Maybe I'm just talking low. Hey, everybody. Before we get started, I just want to remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Ahanka Comics, Qua, Drago66, and Esther Flores. At least I assume they're still there, because it's a new month.
I hope so.
You never know. Sometimes Patreon gets squirrely, but the past couple months have been pretty good about making sure everybody gets in pretty good. Anyway, if you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You get access to it early and lots of other goodies, and it will really help us out. And we really appreciate your support.
Thanks.
Hey, Lucky, what's up? As I cough off microphone again.
This week's episode's gonna be low fucking energy. I can tell you that right now.
Probably. Well, yeah, because once again, yesterday was really weird. So we switched days. We did Let's Talk FGO on a Friday. We usually do What's Up then. And we did that for like an hour and a half because it was a big packed episode. Then we took 5Zs. Well, I took 5Zs. You stayed and chatted with the voice channel for I don't know, half an hour, an hour. However long it took for us to then go record an actual play game, which we did for 2 hours, and that I was up all night last night rendering. Maybe I'm a little parched today. Yeah, sorry if I cough a lot. I'll try and cut some of those out. But I've had a little bit of a scratchy throat today. I've got a bottle of water. But still,
I just had a drink.
Might get a little clag in there. I'll live. You'll live.
Well, we'll make it. Unfortunately, don't expect me to be wanting to stay too long in this episode. I actually have a company-sponsored Christmas party I have to go to in a few hours. I am kind of not looking forward to that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great. I'm
no.
not a party guy. I'm gonna be honest.
Me
100% honest.
But it's a completely free and open bar. They give me $50 just for showing up. It's completely catered. And they'll give me a free taxi ride home. I'm like, This is a lot of nice stuff for me just to show up for free. God damn it.
I don't like parties, but free food, free drinks, free ride home, 50 extra bucks. Fuck, man, that's $50. Yeah. Who doesn't love $50?
Right? I love $50.
You can get all kinds of stuff with $50.
Yeah, and it's actually a semi-formal kind of event. So they actually want you to dress nice. So I actually had, and this is I don't mind so much to party right now. But I hate clothes shopping. I really fucking do.
That's fair. I don't listen. I'm almost a 26-year-old man. I don't fucking know anything about clothes. Whatever. Buy me a big block of shorts. Buy me some new underwears, some t-shirts.
It's I am in the team of dirty jeans and graphic tees. That is my aesthetic.
Yeah. No. Hey, if I lived somewhere where I wouldn't die constantly wearing jeans, I could probably pick a good pair of jeans to wear.
Yeah. And so I basically had to go not grocery shopping, clothes shopping to get me some nice dress clothes. And for Thanksgiving, the same company gave me a $100 gift card to Fred Meyer. It was here's something you can go buy food. I'm like, food.
No, food is for people who have either no money or lots of money. People in between need other things. I can live a long time off a simple diet. But yeah, so you went clothes shopping with this money, I'm presuming.
So I went clothes. Yep. And it was $100. I bought 3 items and used that entire $100.
Yeah, rip.
Yeah, rip. So I bought me a dress shirt that was $29.99. I was like, okay, god fucking damn it. Bought me some dress slacks. Those were $24.99. I was like, okay, well they're nice. And then I went to go buy me some shoes. This was the big part. Because fucking shoes.
God, fuck formal shoes.
Well,
hey, first of all, before I say that, let me give an Omega fun fact. I still don't know how to tie my shoes real good. As a kid, I never really figured out whatever mnemonic device was supposed to teach you to do that, and just I lived in an era when Velcro shoes were a thing, and I just did that. And it was way easier than trying to get my brain to wrap its head around whatever the fuck is going on with the shoes. So yeah, now I still have that problem, but I wear any fucking kind of shoe that you can just pull on and tighten. But yeah, that affects my shoe shopping a lot. Not that I ever have to do that, because I will wear a pair of shoes until they die.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I usually only have 2 pairs of shoes. I have my fuck you, I will kill you boots. I call them that because they're steel-toe boots, so they have this giant metal plate in the front, which I can use to kick things with impunity and not damage my feet. But
That's
these
what they're there for.
boots, huh?
I said that's what they're there for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is, trust me, when you work around stuff where there's a whole bunch of heavy things on the ground, you want those. But these boots also have a steel plate on the bottom of them, so I can step on stuff and not worry about it puncturing my foot. So, like, glass, nails, all that crazy stuff.
That's great. Hey, here's another Omega fun fact. I've actually stepped on a nail in a sneaker, and it went all the way through.
Yeah, same. It's not good.
That might be it. That might be a scar on the bottom of my foot where the nail was. It might be.
Yeah, so, like, those are my general walking around town shoes. Well, boots, I should say, because, I like being able to go where the fuck I want and not have to worry about what's stabbing in there. Also, because they have these extra metal plates in them, that means they are fucking heavier, they are hard, and if I kick someone, they can potentially die. Which is one of the things I love about them. The only other pair of shoe I have is just a pair of tennis shoes that, are just I don't want to fucking wear heavy-ass boots, and, sometimes I wear those. So, I didn't have any, actually, dress shoes, and I didn't want to get no, like, fancy-looking, shiny ones. I was like, no, that's not me. I had enough of those when I was in the military, and you had to like polish and shine them. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I got me a pair of Converse. Just black low top sneakers, or whatever the fuck they are. I don't know. Those were 44 fucking bucks. Now here's the crazy thing.
Ripoff.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. All of those items were on sale. All of them.
That reminds me, I saw a very funny news story about perception the other day where, I don't know if you've heard of this or not, but I'm sure you're familiar with Payless shoes.
Yeah.
They're a shoe brand that you pay less for. Some people kind of look down on that. Some dumb people, I think. It's like, oh, those shoes aren't inexpensive, they're cheap. So Payless rented out an old Armani store that had closed, and they gave it a fake brand named Palessi, and they opened it as a designer brand store, but with just Payless fucking shoes in it. And they had camera, and they were like talking to people. These people were like, "Oh, these shoes, they're so fancy, they're so great, they must be very high quality. I would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for this." And then on camera, they tell them, "By the way, these shoes are from Payless," and people are fucking astonished. They don't believe it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I believe it. Here's the thing. The most of the this is like how like a lot of designer brands for purchase. You're not actually buying like higher quality goods. You're buying a brand name. Like, honestly,
you're buying the legal right to stick a name or a logo on the side of it, and then you're that cool guy. No, I believe we can refer to the Tao of thrift shop.
Oh man, I love the thrift shop. Like, that's where I usually do most of my clothes shopping. Like, the only thing I don't buy from like a thrift store is like usually like socks and underwear.
Yeah,
like, those got to come new.
But still, like that, I think that's a line in the song, and you're like, "Yo, that's $50 for a T-shirt." Right, and like, yeah, I'm sure there are some designer T-shirts with fancy logos on them that are like $50. That's way too much for a T-shirt.
I don't know. I just want a graphic tees. Give me my fucking like anime or video game references on a tee. I'm fucking happy.
I think our market price is like 20 something for a T-shirt, and that's mostly set by Teespring.
Right to me. Yeah.
By the way, that's hey, shout out to whoever bought a Special Waifus and Tactics shirt. I don't know who you are, but I know you exist because we actually have a new product order in our merch store, which is unusual. And when it rolls over and is actually sold, we'll be able to get $7 for it.
Booyah!
Yay us! I'm actually glad that one's sold. I really like Special Waifus and Tactics.
Yeah, I do too. I want to do a graphic for it. I just need to get off my ass in art, which is not happening this weekend because Jesus fucking Christ, I have a lot to do.
Also, it's entirely possible they didn't buy the T-shirt and bought like the mug. Because we have the design in a lot of designs. It's like there's a regular men's tee, there's a women's tee, there's a tank top, there's a long sleeve, a hoodie, and a cup. I think if I have to buy a new hoodie, which hopefully I don't, I was able to get I have a black hoodie, no shit. It's one of the big heavy ones. It's comfy as fuck, and whenever it's cold, I stay in t-shirt and shorts, but I just add a layer. But that had some holes in it, but those were able to get patched, so I don't think I need a new one. But if I was, I would use the fact that we get we can buy stuff at cost off Teespring from our own merch, and I would get one of our hoodies. Maybe even special waifus and tactics. Who knows? We got a lot of hoodie designs. I mean, we haven't added anything since 30 Days of Chicken Fingers. But we have quite a variety of merch options. Most of them are just, text, the infamous white text on black shirts. We got a couple colors in there, but we got a little bit of variety if you're interested, and we are taking suggestions. It's just, honestly, when we did that poll, most people were like, we don't care about merch. And I'm like, yeah, that's understandable. You want to spend an extra $20 on Gacha or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But someday, we'll be big. I mean, we've already got almost 1,300 subs.
We're getting there.
Yeah, once again, YouTube always astonishes me. It no longer lets me know about some things, other than maybe in like monthly updates. We very quietly hit over 100,000 views. We're actually at 102,000 views for the whole channel, which is crazy because it was just like a couple days ago. I think I tweeted, "Hey, by the way, we hit 100,000 views, and one of our Let's Talk FGOs is over 2K views on its own."
We're getting there.
So we're doing good, but hey, that means that there's like almost 1,300 people in this world who follow us and might actually recognize if they see a t-shirt with something we said on it.
I do want to get maybe a shirt or two to take with me when I go to SakuraCon next year, just to see if I do get recognized. Because I think that might be amazing.
Yeah. Well, because we have a couple, like our simplest ass designs is like just the StudiOmega logo, which is real recognizable to just be Studi, the letter Omega.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the, Dragon Mom effect. The very clumsily A plus B equals D, where A equals dragon, B equals mom, and D equals amount of want.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a women's shirt, which just says Dragon Mom on it. I was really clever for a solid couple of months there, and then I was like, fuck, nobody's buying tees. I'm out of juice.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. If you want me to keep doing something, I have to have, someone has to be interested in it, or I have to be really invested in it.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of feedback, right?
Yeah.
You have to be getting something out of it.
The feedback loop.
Otherwise, you're just like, yeah, whatever.
Bah.
I'll do more later.
So, So, yeah, I got some nice clothes. I actually look pretty good in them. I'm still round, though. I should really work on that. Listen up, people. I'm 6 foot tall and 250 fucking pounds.
Wow. So Voice has great fucking timing.
What do you say? What do you do?
He just tweeted that he got another 1,000 subs, and he tweeted his thing, which is over 2 million views, and he's at 26,000 even subs. Just as we're in the middle of having that conversation. Thanks, buddy.
Lay down. Try not to cry.
How does that end anyway? Is it cry anyway?
Yeah. Lay down, try not to cry.
Classic favorite of mine, right up there with Despair, but also Despair. And that one King of the Hill quote, sadness covers me like a blanket, tuck me in, let me die. I think that's how that quote goes. Those are my favorite sadness memes.
Lay down, try not to cry. Oh, okay, here it is. Lay down, try not to cry a lot.
Yeah, there it is. That sounds about right.
Let's see here. Where is our Twitter? Because I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna respond to that with just.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Hey, Voice, if you're listening to this later, this was the exact moment we decided to make that tweet.
Mm-hmm.
We understand social medias.
Let's see. I keep thinking that I should be more active on the our Twitter and our social media in general.
Maybe. I mean, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of hard. Like, because on my own Twitter, I mean, I retweet lots of stuff from people I like or favorite stuff from them. I don't know how to feel about that on, like, the official account. Should I just be retweeting, fucking art I like? Because I actually follow different people as our studio account than I do for me. Like, I follow a lot of official, FGO artists. Like, I follow Raita.
Mm-hmm. I follow Raita.
As the StudiOmega account. I follow a lot of other FGO YouTubers I don't follow on my own account. Mostly because a lot of them followed us. Thanks, guys.
Yep. I totally just saw. I did just actually I will like and retweet though.
Solid.
Because he is our bud.
And I will from my account retweet. Though I don't think I have to anymore. Since you're there, what's the followers on our Twitter account?
116.
All right, so they our official account has officially passed me because I have 107 followers. There was a time when that was a much greater difference.
Yes, our comment. It's great. Our fucking comment is the top one now because the first one to actually say anything. Perfect.
Yep.
I feel like I should give him, like I was saying. Actually, since I am on our fucking Twitter, let us have some spicy lucky stuff.
Sure, go for it. Shoot out some tweets. Live tweet while we're doing the show.
Let us live tweet. Let's see here.
While you're thinking about stuff, I can just jabber about some channel stuff.
Yeah, jabber about some channel stuff. Let's see.
So we released another Lucky Rants. That's cool. It's the strawberry milk one. People like that one a lot. I think a video doesn't have quite as much views yet as the first one, but that happens a lot with, like, first of something. You get a burst of initial view, and then people are like, I don't actually care about this.
Oh, yeah.
And then if they do care about a new one later, they, like, spike back up.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's out there. That's fun. Got a lot of thumbs up. Like, actually, I should say our actual play campaign is like the first one did very healthy for us starting a new video series. Basically, it was like almost 100 views. The second one's a little more measured, though we did get our first comment on that video, which was weird.
I saw that.
And I'm like, wow, I think that is literally the first time somebody has done that with us. So if you're listening, good for you, bud. You set a record on the channel.
Oh, yeah.
I did actually release Wanted Ishtar. That was fun. That has good views. Did some X-Wing stuff nobody cares about. That's a lie, actually. I have a very tiny X-Wing audience, but I feel like they actually care a decent amount because they will occasionally leave comments and stuff. And I experimented with, like, a bonus video about L5R news that isn't, like, super big, but it's not super tiny either.
Mm-hmm.
So I may continue to do more of those. That's always an interesting thing about YouTube is, like, I don't necessarily know how the algorithms work, so is it, like, is this just not something people who are subscribed to us right now care about? And also, is it, like, because we don't normally do videos of this type and we're branching out into, like, a new topic, is it, like, YouTube not putting us in front of people? Because I've done some of these news videos for stuff, usually for, like, Star Wars stuff that the Fantasy Flight Games does, like X-Wing or Legion. But sometimes I do these little news videos in, like, the middle of the night, and they get huge views. For the longest time, my first Legion video, which was just, what do we know? It was immediately after Gen Con. They just announced that they were putting it out and run some demos. And I pulled together lots of, like, screen caps and conversations people had, and I was like, all right, here's what we got. That was our most viewed video for a long time until Let's Talk FGO started to dig in. Because that was well over a year ago. Because my other big video that we did that was like that was also a Gen Con video. So maybe it's just a Gen Con thing. I don't know. But yeah, so hey, if you care about Legend of the Five Rings, if you don't care, you should start caring, because I'm not going to stop talking about it for a while. Because they keep announcing more stuff. Their big setting sourcebook, Emerald Empire, has switched to shipping now, which means it'll be in stores soon, and then hopefully a PDF soon after, just because it's another full-price hardback book. So, yeah. But also they announced another novella. That'll be great. I actually kind of kicked myself for this later, because I was like, oh shit, I should have done actual, like, reviews of the first two novellas, but it's too late. I already read them. The first impressions is gone. But I will probably definitely do that as a video then. Also, I was browsing the, like, inspired section in L5R, where it's like, here's some materials you can read to get some on theme, like direct sources and also, like, fiction works, and then I realized there was a book series that I hadn't read, by an author I liked, and I was like, well, shit. Now I have to buy like 4 more books. Thanks, L5R.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll talk about those sometime, because God, do I love books.
I'm getting more books. I'm actually on Amazon right now. I got like 4 books in the shop and a Dakimakura pillow.
Yeah. You actually got you got a pillow, right? Well, you got the pillowcase. You don't have a pillow for it.
Yeah, no. Well, I have a body pillow, but it's just like flat as fuck because it's really old.
Yeah, that happens with pillows.
Mm-hmm. But let's see, I just pulled up the cart. I have let's see here, Goblin Slayer Volume 4. Wait, no, that's the manga. I don't need the fucking manga. You offend me. Get thee hence. Delete that. Find the actual one. Okay, so I have 3 books in here. So I got volumes 3 and 4 of Saga of Tanya the Evil, which has superb artwork. I fucking love that artwork. And I also got Do You Love Your Mom and Her 2-Hit Multi-Target Attacks.
Yeah, you've talked about that one before a little bit.
I'm getting that mostly because Pochi Ida does the art, and she is fucking amazing, because I love her. But, let's see. Now I gotta go see if I can find, actually, Goblin Slayer Volume 4 light manga. See if that's... light novel, excuse me. Let's see if that's actually out. Yeah, it is out. What the fuck? What the fuck, game? What the fuck, computer? Not game. Yes, everything is a game.
All things are games. Life is a game, and God, in fact, does play dice. Hey, speaking of which, well, assuming it went through, it looks like it hasn't properly charged me yet, but maybe it's because I ordered it in the middle of the night. I decided to stop waiting for Amazon to get L5R dice in stock, and I just ordered directly from Fantasy Flight. It cost me an extra couple bucks in shipping, but it still wasn't super expensive, so I was like, fuck it, I just want the dice. And honestly, that's really for a lot of this stuff, that's really the only reason to actually order off Amazon, is just because if you can get it Prime, you can get it without shipping, which is always a pain in the ass. Because even if it's
free 2-day delivery,
even if it's a small amount of money, usually that means it's like, oh yeah, it'll arrive fucking whenever. We don't know. We're gonna give it to the U.S. Postal Service, and they'll get it to you eventually by donkey.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I failed to get a job at the post office. Heck. I applied, and then like 3 months later, they told me I didn't get in. Who guessed?
Like guess. Oh, man, I'm like really, really don't want to work. I want to just do this just full time. It'd be so amazing.
Yeah, no, I think we all feel that, to be able to devote full time to this, and to have the resources to efficiently devote full time to this, because honestly, like, I have ideas for stuff I want to do, but some of it's just like, I don't have a really efficient way to do this right now. Some of it also, though, is just being busy juggling a lot of our hats. I haven't.
Let's see if I
keep
more time.
saying I'm gonna record more VC4, but right now we're doing like 3 gacha game events all at once, which are a big deal to me. So it's like, fuck, I don't have time for that. I also keep saying I want to record more actual like L5R like long form content, like the first thing I did, but then I'm like, fuck, I'm busy, or I have to do another video, and you know, at the moment, rendering videos takes a big chunk of time, and then uploading and stuff, and it's not really efficient.
Yeah, like me, it's like I work 40 hours a week, and that shit makes me tired. Like, I have to do basically most of our content stuff on the weekend, or try to smash something out, like, during the few conscious hours I have between work and sleep. Which sometimes I can do. Like, I've been working on the script for my video here and there. It's up to 2 pages now. I have to, once I finish writing it, though, I have to give it to Omega and be like, Omega, be the editor, so he can see it, and then I can record it. Man. I wanted, like I said, like, I gave myself a little bit of wiggle room, so I won't have to be like, I won't feel the immediate pressure and I won't fuck up, but, because, like, the deadline basically is I want to release this video, like, just before the year ends.
Yeah, that's a good solid slot. And even if you finish early, we can probably just sit on it for a while. I've done that before with videos, which are just like, fuck, this video doesn't fit in the schedule yet. I've got timely stuff.
That's the plan, but as I said, like, I still have to finish, like, make sure that I work on Let's Talk FGO, record anything I need to record, because it was literally like with their lucky rants. It wasn't that I didn't want to do it; I just literally kept forgetting. And
I figured, because we do very casual. Listen, we're not. That's another thing. Is organization is something we would hope to improve if we can focus on this better with more funding and tech, because like right now, my ability to do shows is controlled by a tiny whiteboard thing stuck on one of my cabinets that I write on with dry erase markers every once in a while. Like, so we forget stuff if we don't remember to write it in the notes. I think for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, we've been forgetting to talk about this FGO themed drink Twitter, which is just really interesting in a lot of ways, because it's like, here's a recipe and here's a prep, and it's like how it's themed on the characters, and they're very interesting to see. And also a lot of them are pretty to look at. And it's just, we keep forgetting to talk about it because it wasn't in our notes for like 2 weeks in a row, and if it's not in the show notes, we don't know it. It does not exist.
Nope.
It's like the reverse of the teleprompter problem. We only know what's in the notes. If it's outside the notes, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Like right now, I'm looking up to see if I can find like a 7-day calendar board thing, so I can actually like, because that's what I need to do. I need to
So let's actually we can make this interesting, hopefully interesting for the audience anyway, because there'll be a couple days of delay on this. Before it goes public, because obviously I have to render it. Maybe because you have to go, we won't be super long tonight, but we'll see. But let me see. What should the schedule be? Because we have no backlog, right? Actually, no, that's wrong. We have one backlog. That'll probably be done before this comes out, though. We have one AP that's recorded, and I made the video version, and it's uploaded. So that's definitely coming out next week, and will probably have come out before this video comes out, just because it's already uploaded and made. And this one isn't. You want to know like my ideal posting kind of schedule to be? No, I'm just trying to think what would our schedule for what videos are coming out in the next week, and kind of talk through that, because like right now we have like no backlog, so it's all we can basically program the next week right here. I have to do a wanted Enkidu before like Wednesday. There may or may not be Star Wars news that I have to talk about. That's always a question mark in the schedule. But other than that, we don't have anything. So what could we do? I might actually finally get around to making those L5R videos if there's nothing else to input.
There's also a VC4.
True. If I have the free time to record those.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, like honestly, there's not gonna be much for me. Like I could like start recording me playing something on my PC. I could try and get back into doing Dead Space and finish that up. It's been a fucking long time though. When I was playing Terraria, I considered just recording me playing it, but I haven't played that to relax in a while either, because, like I said, gotcha. I'm farming miracle stockings right now. I need those fucking stockings. At least I'm not super depressed, because I did in fact roll Ishtar. So that's great. Yeah!
Because that's also always a concern, is just, since this is just us, like there's definitely a big like, well, if we're having a bad day or a bad week, that really fucks up the schedule.
It's like all my willpower is to going into work and not killing people. That's like some people might be like, no, I'm not kidding. Like I don't like dealing with people. Like, I just don't. I hate drama. I hate it with a passion, and some of my coworkers are kind of petty, I would say.
Some people love the drama. Love the drama. That's not our look on this channel at all.
No, I don't deal with drama. Either I get away from drama, or drama gets away from me. Usually how the way drama gets away from me is I will put it far away from me, usually with violence.
Nah, don't miss me with that shit.
Yeah. It's like, I am perfectly okay being by myself and alone and not talking to people.
So here's your future content update. StudiOmega will never be a drama channel.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably not true. There may be drama on the channel, but we are not a channel who gets into the drama.
No.
We've had some real talks with the audience before, but we are not necessarily like, oh, we're gonna start some shit. Oh, you want some gossip? You want some tea? No, none of that. We're low conflict here.
Oh, that was my phone. I was like, I just heard a thong. What was that? It wasn't loud enough to be like your mic arm, so I was like, what?
Yeah, I think I said this last week that I got a new phone to be a phone. I still haven't programmed any numbers into it. Other than that, I think Google somehow remembered you from me like texting you or something once. I don't know.
Because you can save like phone numbers to Google, or just like depending on like if it's connected to the account or something.
Yeah, it's somehow in there's one contact number and it's called Lucky Jack. So I'm pretty sure that's a guy I know.
Like, how many people do you call?
Not a lot. I need to put my parents' numbers in the phone now because they're not in it already. But just so I can transition phones, because I have on my Gotcha-ing phone, I had a free through internet text service, VoIP service basically for texting, which is what I used my old phone for, and now I use it for shipping confirmations and stuff. But I need to move that to the phone that's a phone. And so I can identify it because, as always, because this was obviously a phone, it's like a prepaid. So somebody had this number before me, surely, and so, I get calls all the time, and I'm like, I have no idea who these fucking numbers are. I don't know what they mean. If they leave a voicemail, my phone doesn't tell me or let me get access to it, so I guess they're just not anything going on. They're missed calls that mean nothing to me. It's weird. As like a young a teen preteen, I should say, I was decently into phone culture, because we had dial-up, which meant that getting on your instant messenger and doing AIM was just the same as making a phone call anyway, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I talked to people a decent amount on the phone for extended periods. But after that period passed and I could actually just talk to people online through text easier, and even call them thanks to Skype, even though that service is a huge piece of shit now.
Oh, God.
Or was it always a piece of shit and just we had better tools later? Who knows? Now as an adult, I'm basically actual phone call illiterate. Just I can text. I can do this thing where I jump into a server with Lucky and we talk over the internet, but you want me to pull my phone, answer my fucking phone, pull it. I'm I don't know what I'm doing. I don't follow the phoning thing anymore at all. And it's kind of weird to me.
See, I basically just used my phone call to call, maybe my bank sometimes, maybe some customer service if a company like something weird happens, and maybe my mom. That's it. I'll text people. I text a few more people. I have a few friends that I'll text, but I don't call them. And it's usually me texting people going, hey, tell me a secret. Because honestly, that's kind of a fun conversation starter. I feel like that might be a bit of a lost skill, is just being able to sit in a room with somebody and just bullshit for a while.
Yeah, it depends on the circumstances and the stuff. As a person who missed the traditional high school experience, thank you, homeschooling, because I would not have enjoyed high school, I'm sure. Especially where I was living when I was high school age. That would have been great. Rural Central Florida.
I'm sorry, I just heard a banjo just go off in my head right there.
Banjos, cows, maybe some oranges. Most of the cows, though. And yes, no, fuck, we have a fuckload of cow pastures here. There's actually, legit cowboy culture in this state. You think it's all sunshine and rainbows and theme parks, but no. Cows, oranges, sugarcane.
Sugarcane.
Yeah, there's a lot of this too. But so that's one of the things I really enjoyed about the first chunk of my college anyway, was back when I could actually physically go to classes, and the bachelor's program wasn't entirely online. That was how I got my bachelor's degree, which kind of sucked because it killed the fuck out of my grades and my motivation and everything. That was the worst I think I'd ever done at school, was doing some of those online classes, just because it was so bullshit and so make work and so disconnected that it was fuck, whatever. Also, there were a lot of dumb anti-plagiarism requirements that were really shitty just to people trying to do projects in general.
I remember those.
But actually physically going to classes and even having to do some mandatory group projects, that really helps you build that kind of conversational skill to just be okay, we have 1 degree in common by default in that we are both people who are in this classroom. That's about it. So, and now we have to make a project which our future depends on because it's going to be graded. So, kind of just, all right, how do you bring that together? Mm-hmm. I got that taught me to be real good at smiling and nodding and acknowledging when people speak to me. And if I don't care, I just keep acknowledging. Otherwise, if they actually want to get answers, I was always very engaged. My professors always liked me, or at least seemed to like me, because I was definitely... I mean, you guys have listened to me for, hopefully, a long period. You guys should probably know. I'm fairly studious, as long as it's not, like, super bullshit or obscure. I tend to remember stuff that I read, especially if I actually write it down. And I have lots of college notebooks, which are filled with doodles when there was nothing to write down. I scribbled instead. But I was sharp on the uptake. I remembered pretty good. And I think I had a slightly broader amount of knowledge than a lot of kids coming out of high school normally did, just because of who I was and also the homeschooling thing.
Yeah, that is something...
Because, hey, public education's not great.
No, it's not. Rote memorization for standardized testing so your school can get more money is not the greatest way to educate the future.
No, you need to be broad. You need to, like... I mean, if we want to turn this at almost 40 minutes into another real talk podcast, like, subject that should be key to everybody is civics should be first and foremost in everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they should actually make sure everybody understands how to register to vote, what voting means, all that stuff, like what your actual structure of government is on a detailed level, what elections actually matter. That should actually be covered, like, first. What your rights are as a citizen and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's something that skips it. So, like, being a criminal justice degree, I learned so many things about the way police operate and are supposed to have to operate in this country. Like, if police knock on your door and ask you questions, don't... I say this as a person who is a criminal justice major, don't fucking tell them anything. If they don't have a warrant, don't do anything, because they are busy people on a job, and if you become the easiest route for them to travel on for something, they will continue to travel on that route. Which can get dumb stuff happens to you, because police are human beings and are not perfect. So if they don't have a warrant, don't do or say anything. They don't actually have the authority to get anything out of you without a warrant. Yep. That's what the Fourth Amendment is for. The Constitution is fucking amazing.
Don't admit anything. Just, I think you are required to, like, you have to, like, affirm who you are, but I think that's about it.
Yeah, basically they can, if they're in an investigation, they can ask to confirm your identity, basically, to be like, okay, let me make sure you are blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have to
would you care to answer a few questions?
Nope.
No, not at this time. Can we come inside? Nope, not without a warrant.
Nope.
That's just not how that works.
Like there's other things, like police officers are actually supposed to carry, like, several forms of identification to prove, like, who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can't do that or won't do that, you can literally, just literally call the police on them.
Yeah.
It's like...
That said, there is another thing that people always get wrong. There's a common phrase I've heard, which is like, are you a cop? You got to tell me if you're a cop. That's not true. The cop doesn't have to actually tell you he's a cop. That means that... but otherwise, yeah, no. Like, if they're trying to... People assume because they're authority figures, they have to go along with... That's not how that works.
Well, if they're in a uniform, yeah.
Yeah, that's obvious. I'm just saying, like, if you run into somebody asking you cop questions, they don't actually... That's a pop cultural thing. They can totally lie to you and say that they're not a cop. That's how sting operations work. Which they're legally allowed to do is if you set up correctly. Entrapment's a complex issue, but they do have certain rights and abilities to, like, they don't have to present themselves as cops all the time. But yeah, no, like, that's another big deal. Because that's like a big deal in major chunks of the Constitution. A lot of people don't necessarily understand how other stuff is supposed to work, or a lot of the theories behind it. And it's really interesting. So that's one thing is like civics. Math should be different, and I say this as a person who's not great at math. My brain just doesn't wrap around it well, but I had to do a lot of bullshit math courses that, guess what, I have never once used in my life. I'm a guy who talks on the internet. People give us almost $150 every month. Thank you, patrons, by the way. Never once had to do proto-trig, high-level algebra, most geometry. I can't even remember all the math bullshit we had to do in schooling to qualify for standardized tests and get math credits and shit, and I don't fucking know. You just don't need it. You don't fucking need it. If you need to learn higher level math, you can learn it in college when you have something it applies to.
Oh, okay. So I just double checked on the identify thing. It turns out that well, this is specifically for Seattle, so I don't know. It might be different in other places. But if asked, yes, they are supposed to, but there are exceptions to this. Yeah. It is if an investigation is jeopardized, a police function is hindered, and if there's a safety consideration.
Which, yeah, that's basically what all the rules are for cops. Is like, they can't basically do anything unless they're like, oh, you are directly impeding an investigation. There is like risk of life and limb at stake or something. Because there are urgency exceptions to almost everything. The Supreme Court is actually very reasonable throughout history most of the time. That's where you that's actually a Supreme Court decision is the famous phrase, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater and expect to get away with it, right? Because you cannot, you are not, it's not protected speech to make incendiary, possibly harmful statements which are, counter to the public good. You can express your opinion any way you like, but you can't necessarily shout whatever you like in public and be immune to consequences. But yeah, so like I said, like school priorities are real fucked up.
Yeah.
We don't focus enough on language and literature or civics, like I said. I think the math focus is weird.
Yeah.
Science is a clusterfuck, but that's for an entirely different reason.
I don't understand why we need algebra in standard courses.
I mean, basic. I learned basic ass algebra in late elementary school level, but that was how to solve variables. That's But past that, fuck, I don't need any of this other stuff. I don't even remember most of my algebra because guess what? I've never used it. Also, I own a fucking calculator. I own a very nice TI-83 Plus graphing calculator, which I still don't remember how to do the graphing functions really big, but I also don't even use those graphs, so who the fuck cares?
In my high school, they pushed people to get into trig and the calculus. I'm like, no, I don't know this stuff.
Doing high level engineering?
No, I was done. This is just part of the standard curriculum.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Through, so many of these math classes, and then you just you get bumped up to trig or calculus. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to do other stuff. I want to do arts and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, we have this basic ass art class where they just do the same thing every semester. I'm like, why? It's like, oh, how about you do a sport? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What's the actual... Calculus is used in every branch of physical science, actuarial science, computer science, statistics, engineering, economics, business, medicine, demography, and lots of other stuff. So, are you gonna be a scientist, or a doctor, or a business major? Otherwise, no. And guess what? Hey, they can teach you that shit at the college level when you actually are aiming at what you're doing.
Honestly, that's what they do anyway.
I mean, they make you retake everything anyway.
Yeah.
I did not do, SAT. I did ACT because everybody said that test was better. And I had no experience, but I scored low enough on my ACT in math that I had to take basically make-up math courses, which I barely passed because, math is awful for me.
Yeah. No, I don't like math.
No, seriously, there are definitely math people. And there are not math people, and people who are math people need to understand that not math people do in fact exist. And it just doesn't click. I accept that there are people who don't have, I don't know, some people don't have my, reading retention and comprehension, because I know that's a thing I do very well. This is something I realized about my life just talking to people, is that I do have a probably better than average knack to read something, understand it, remember it, and spit it back out when it comes up. I'm great at reading-based memory for facts and stuff. And I read quickly and efficiently, too. But I have come to an understanding that, not everybody does that. Well, then I don't need to be it's written in a book. I don't need to be condescending about it. That's just... Some people don't proc information that way. Math is the same thing. I still have to do, sometimes basic addition and stuff, or multiplication in my head or on my fingers, just because I'm like, wait, hold on, how does that go? Like, I have to wrap my mind around the concepts. Meanwhile, some people in school just perfectly memorize their fucking multiplication tables and can just spit out anything. I wasn't that kid. Nope, that wasn't me.
I was a dork in school. I just happened that I was a tall dork, and I knew a lot of people.
See, I know, like, math is kind of like, I think, I think that's like we want to be like an international dick measuring contest and be like, look how good our math scores are. We're super smart. Our country's full of engineers and doctors and physicists. No, it's not, though. That's a lie. Cut that shit out. That's what college is for.
It's like, shoot.
Accessible practical skills. The math you really need to learn in high school is basically basic business math. How to balance your checkbook, what the fuck credit cards mean, how interest works, and basically all the math that enables that so you don't go horribly into debt and can be a functioning adult in our society.
I'm horribly in debt, and I'm barely a functioning adult. Jesus fucking Christ. It's taking me, I fucking ruined my credit score, when I got out of high school. Like, I'm just now starting to get to,
double check my credit score. I don't know what it's like. It's probably not super amazing, because I haven't fucking done anything with it.
Yeah.
But still, that's because it's like, what the fuck do I even know about that stuff? And honestly,
I literally have to learn everything about, my credit score and all that stuff, as I'm in debt, I gotta fix this.
Yeah. I mean, being homeschooled, my parents were a lot more practical about some stuff with me, but still, it's until you actually get into your quote-unquote real life and your context, some of it doesn't make a lot of sense.
God, do you know what I wish they had when I was in high school? That they fucking kept, some things like home economics. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, that's actually probably a really good basic thing.
Yeah.
Understanding how to feed yourself.
How to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
Axe was talking about this. In college, I had mandatory health credits, which was like, hey, you need to understand how to keep yourself alive. But that was still at college level.
Yeah. Literally, home economics, noun. Cooking and other aspects of household management, especially as taught as at school.
Yeah.
It's guess what? It's getting pushed out for, guess what? More sports, more sciences, more math. I can't really...
Yeah, math should not be as big of a deal. You can't force people to be smarty pants careers, or at least I don't think you can. Because it didn't work for me. Whatever that particular part of society was trying to program in me, despite being a relatively smart person my whole life, was math was never my specialty. I'm trying to remember. I think, piecing back together your early life is hard sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to remember. I was made to take an IQ test when I was younger for a reason that I don't recall, but I scored really quite decent, not genius level or anything like that, but I scored quite well above average in the verbal aspect and about normal in the math aspect, which about sums me up. Words, I'm good. I'm good with wordy things. Math shit, that never clicked with me.
If I remember correctly, I think I did above average in both, but the thing is I kind of winged it. And I think that was the interesting thing is it's basically I'm someone who functions when I don't actually try to think about the problem, is I just basically try to let my subconscious go for it. Or something like that. I can't remember. But if you notice, that's how I do things. I don't actually think about a lot of stuff I do. I just do it.
Yeah. And that can be a entire that's a skill or a trait in of itself, that ability to do that kind of controlled spontaneity. Honestly, not for our big What's Up is basically all improv. Mm-hmm. Let's Talk is not, but that's just because we have a lot of material to cover, so it's important to write a lot of that stuff down. When I do other smaller videos, when I do news videos for Legion or X-Wing, or even if I do wanted videos, those are all basically improv. I collect the data points I want, and then I'm just all right, I'm going to string this information I have together in a sequence that is the format of the show. And hopefully they turn out okay. They get lots of views, so I think they work. At least once it does. And honestly, we've talked about this before, you can totally tell you have a different tone of voice when you are reading from the script and when you are just talking like we are right now.
Yeah.
There is a key sign that this is not scripted. I put a pause word in there. I there's the significant pauses while we think about stuff to say. Wow, I'm getting really self-conscious about my masterful improv level, which is especially weird because, once again, as a reminder, the way we record these shows, I listen to my own microphone, so it's playing through my sound card, which is then captured by my audio software, so I'm listening to myself speak literally out of my earbuds at the same time as I do this.
That's really hard, honestly, to do. Like, I've tried listening to my own microphone.
That took me a while to get used to that.
Because there's actually an effect. It's actually been used by some law enforcement, where basically, like, there'll be a crowd. Jammer. Yeah, the speech jammer. Basically, they'll just, almost at a real-time level, just relay what you're saying right back to you. Because apparently when you hear your own voice saying the exact same thing you are right now, it causes a basically small lapse in your brain.
You basically soft lock. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Your brain can't continue its train of thought because you are inputting information back into you, and you're like, huh? Wasn't I just saying that? And you're like, yes, no, dumbass, you were just saying that.
Yeah.
So listen, I think it's because in this there's like almost no delay.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it's picking up live off my microphone, so that's all local. And maybe it's also just because I got used to hearing myself because I edited audio for a while before we got to like the hard and fast recording.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but yeah, that's definitely a skill I had to develop that other people have talked about. It's like, oh, I couldn't do that.
Like, that's one thing I do definitely want to work on is our improv. And not so much just how we talk, just, removing the pause words and often the silences that we just sometimes have, where we just kind of taper off and while we, like, transition thoughts.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of that gets polished out in editing. That's what editing is for.
Mm-hmm.
There were times when I would even do, like, I don't do it now because I just don't have the time. I personally don't have the time. It's basically one man editing this stuff, and I'm sure Lucky barely has time to do it if he edits, like a show a week, where I would literally go through and I was like, there's a pause word, there's a stuttered word, I'll cut that out. You sound very professional and clean when you do that, but goddamn.
It takes fucking forever. I don't, have time for that.
No, nobody has time for that. You have to listen to your audio, like, multiple times back, constantly edit it. Oh, that pause is too long. Oh, there's a breath there I want to mute. Oh, there's, there's a weird clicking sound.
Man, like, as I said, if we did this full time, and I could literally spend an entire day, like, in Vegas, yeah, I could do something like that. But I can't.
No.
I have to expedite what I can and get it out as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. Also, if we were necessarily getting paid full time for this, we might be able to add more people to the team. We could get a guy to do that as an editor, as opposed to doing it ourselves. But future plans.
But we work with what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Here at StudiOmega, we're super low budget and we're trying to make it work.
By the way, as a whole, I think we're winging it.
Mm-hmm.
So you were saying something?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, how's the monetization looking?
Application is submitted and still in review, so nothing terrible has happened yet.
Well, at least it wasn't an instant rejection. I don't fucking know. Huh.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. Like I said, I think I said it on Let's Talk FGO. If this persists, I'm gonna make my own graphic in Paint, which is gonna say original content by me, and that's gonna become our new image insert for everything. You're gonna see it a fucking lot. Because it's basically like, apparently YouTube has decided to be really stingy with us. But I hope they haven't. I hope they're doing okay with us, and we have tried to improve. Their communication did actually get slightly better. They changed their language somewhere in there, and it was like, oh, this is slightly more clear now. I can kind of understand it better.
Yeah.
Which is really all we need. Unfortunately, like, we aren't, and even though we're partners, we're still, the channel is a YouTube, partner verified. We're still a little small for them, I think, to give us, like, personal attention. Which is a shame. Also, dear future YouTube rep, if you exist, I'm sorry in advance. We're probably going to have some very awkward conversations at times.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
Awkward
By the way,
conversations. Yeah, go ahead.
Like, I know, like, at some point this month, you said you have to, like, do a family function, and you're not going to be available for a weekend. When was that again?
That'll be the weekend before the Christmas.
weekend before the Christmas. So
That'll be the... And actually, because we switched dates, I should still be able to do Let's Talk FGO on the 21st. But it'll be cool. What's Up that you can solo a What's Up if you like on the 22nd, probably. I'm pretty sure we're staying overnight, so yeah, that's why I can't. We're not actually having the big get-together until the Sunday, but I think I have to... Once again, the beautiful thing about Florida, the state's fucking long. You want to go anywhere, you have to drive a couple of hours. Hey, if you live in a place that has public transportation that goes places easily, or you can walk places, cherish that. That's not an advantage in a lot of this country. And boy howdy.
You see, as a person who just doesn't like going places, like where I live generally doesn't bother me. I
mean, that's fair if you like, because I don't necessarily want to go out much either. But boy howdy, when you want to go somewhere, it can be a kind of a pain in the ass if you're like, well, fuck, I got to drive to the next town. And that's like 30 minutes, both ways. Which, if I want to go to a mall, I have to do that. That's like a 30-minute drive. See a movie. Small town America. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's too big.
But yeah, so that's that date. And that's a family thing I literally cannot get out of. I will be killed if I try to escape it.
My family kind of just leaves me alone.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, I live with my parents, and I don't really pay rent, so...
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, you have to go.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why I specifically try not to live with my parents, is I don't want to be under the rules, because growing up with my family, as I said, they definitely made me shoulder a lot of the responsibility of cleaning.
Yeah, see,
it was one of those
we skipped that in my house. Like there was a few chores, but mostly it was just I was way too stubborn of a child, and still am, honestly. I don't have to actually call on whatever willpower I got, but I got a lot of willpower saved up if it comes to a certain thing, and it's just way easier not to bother me.
Yeah. No, my mom,
I can run the trash cans down to the end of the front walk. That's not a huge deal. If it's trash night, I usually have to throw my own trash and recycle out anyway.
Yeah, like I lived in a house where I couldn't go anywhere or do anything until the entire house was clean. So I would literally spend my Friday after school, to Sunday evening cleaning the house, and then maybe I can go out and do something Sunday.
Yeah, no,
and that's how it was every weekend. Yeah,
because basically that would be that house wouldn't get cleaned.
Yeah.
Omega would entertain himself in a dark room with blank walls, and you would not have a clean house.
I say, like I said, I didn't like being in that house, so I wanted to get out of that house. And if I didn't want to piss off my mom, who was not afraid of wish I used more direct applications of force, I should say. Yeah, wasn't the greatest situation for me growing up, but you make do.
Hey, you're alive.
I'm alive. It's just one of those things that, one of I would say my core tenets of being me, as I've mentioned this, and a lot of people say, like, damn, you're morbid for thinking that. I'm like, eh. But one of my core tenets is either I make it or I die.
Nah, I mean, that's pretty simple. Like, that is really the ultimate choice of life is, well, either it'll continue working out and I will continue being alive, or I will stop.
Yep.
And that is kind of the ultimate how this situation goes.
Yeah. And some people, I kind of feel like some people, get a little bit too concerned about, everything in between of, losses, gains, and all that stuff. And, at this point, I've been homeless, oh, God, how many times? 4 times in my life. I've had everything I owned be burnt down in a house fire. I've been stranding on the opposite side of the country with no way to get home. Oh man, I've been in fights, scrapes. Oh man, I've had deadly diseases. Well, it wasn't really deadly, but it could have killed me. It's I have had I tell people I have lived a life enough for 3 normal people. Just how much crazy shit I have gone and done in my life. Military, I've been shot at. I didn't shoot at anybody because I didn't have a gun on lookout. No, they just decided to just put me up there where snipers can fucking shoot at me.
You'll be fine. Nobody would dare shoot an American ship. That's crazy. Oh, wait.
Ping! Ah!
They do that.
Yeah, they do that. I've been part of like when I was in the military, I was part of like large scale city evacuations where people were like being flown in, bloodied and broken, and I had to like literally have my hands over their wounds, try to like staunch their bleeding until one of the corpsmen could get to them. Like after a while, you just stop worrying about like how life is gonna take you, and you just concern yourself about making that next step.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say my life hasn't been that exciting, but that's definitely something I've had to come to grips with, just because I've probably flown fairly straight on the the straight and narrow of what people say you're supposed to do in life. You go to school, you get an education, all that stuff. Oh, you get a job. Oh, nobody wants to take you for a job? Well, gee. That's, that's great, because you wouldn't have enjoyed doing whatever the fuck that was anyway. It would have sucked. This doesn't suck. That's why I want to do this. And why we're super grateful for the people who support us, and we also hope we can do other stuff to support ourselves. But, it's a thing, it's a realization you have to come to and just be like, God, fuck, life can really suck just, on its own, so you gotta just live it how it comes. Because if you keep...
It's like, you don't beat life.
Yeah.
That's like...
No, that's true. Life eventually will beat you. I said this joke in the voice chat, I think it was right after you left, where I don't remember what context it was, but I belted out the classic, well, we're all dying a little bit every day. So yeah, no, listen, here's your life advice from young adult men. Maybe not young adult men. Adult men? We're definitely not middle-aged men. But we are adults, and we've done some stuff, and we haven't done some stuff. And here's our life experience, which I think matters because, holy shit, our audience are babies. They're tiny baby children. This astonishes me every time. They're all, lots of people talk about they're in finals and college course, and I'm like, oh, I remember that terrible curse. That was I don't know if you were still there when I said this. This is another thing I said, though. I was talking about, school life. When you're in college, it seems like forever. First of all, because four-year college is kind of a lie. You have to do a lot of coursework to make that stick. And even then, sometimes it doesn't work. It took me 4 years? 4.5 years? I mean, I should say 5 years, 5.5 years to complete my 4-year degree total. Maybe 6. I'd have to do some math. But, when you get through all that, and you go out the end, you're like, what the fuck was I doing with that time? That's whole years of my life, and I just vaguely remember classes and stuff. It kind of just, blurs together, and you'll be like, you'll realize you missed those years in a sense because you don't have those years anymore. And to me, it's all, even though I know I'm not, I will say on the one hand, quarter of a century. That's kind of freaky. But at the same time, I also accept that for humans, that's not that old. It's still super weird to think about. I have been around for nearly 26 years. I assume. I think that's correct. That's one of those things I'm never good at. Birthdays, not great. Names, I don't fucking know. Math, also bad.
Yep.
But just conceptualizing the concept, fuck, I've been around for, over 2 decades. And I can look back and I can think about some of those years and realize, oh wow, that's been some time. That's a little freaky. So take our advice, obviously you gotta live your own life. That's a thing we see people do too much these days, I think, is you try to live other people's lives, basically. Live your own life. But we,
get out there and do stuff.
We have been doing some things in a lot of variety of ways, and some people might not think, I could see different people looking at our different life stories and be like, oh, you didn't really do something during that period. No, we were doing something. Even if that something was not getting whatever it was we were trying to do, we were still doing something. Failure is doing something, and Lucky's talked before about how you've explicitly said, you don't learn unless you fail.
Yeah.
So, that's still doing stuff. If you don't feel like you're doing stuff, you're still doing something. Fuck it. If you're a neat, living in a basement, not doing anything you're not literally doing nothing all day, right? You're doing something to fill those hours. What are you doing? And it's entirely possible that'll actually come back to help you in some way.
Yeah. So everyone, There's a really good video that I want y'all to watch. It's something that actually kept me going when I was in a period of time when I was homeless. I didn't know what I was gonna do in life, and this kind of really helped me out. So, I want you to go onto YouTube and look up everybody's free to wear sunscreen. I'm gonna post it here in our Patreon chat.
I will not watch it because I would capture that audio.
Yeah, but you should watch it later because it is very inspirational at the same time very humble, and it just gives you some interesting things to think about in life. And I think basically the younger you watch it and understand what it's trying to tell you, the better effect it will have. I might post it in the fucking general chat too because I want it's
because you can,
just
and
good.
then in like 2 or 3 days, people will realize, oh hey, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no,
so
that's always good. There's always little things that like there was a Game Grumps animated that was not a joke animated, which is about time because honestly, Game Grumps is one of those shows that it's kind of like us doing What's Up, only we do it without playing a video game. Someday I'm sure we'll do that type of stuff.
Oh yeah,
but it's
totally.
Two dudes talking, just almost pure train of thought. Just what did we want to talk about today? Oh shit, we ran out of stuff we wanted to talk about today, so we're just filling the hours. We're at over an hour, by the way, in case you were curious.
Yeah.
But it was a very weird, like, trippy thing, and it was just, a couple of Aaron Hansen quotes about, like, he had to learn to practice self-love to just kind of, like, he was in a bad place where he didn't appreciate himself or think he was good at stuff, and then, like, through contact with people and just learning to do self-love, he was able to be like, no, actually, it is okay that I hang out with people and I am allowed to enjoy things and make things and be good at them. And it was just really, really kind of moving in a way because that's totally true. If you have to love anybody, you have to love yourself because you are the only person you are stuck with 100% of the time unless there's something weird going on with your mental health. But mostly it's just you. There's only one you, and you're stuck with you 100% of the time. So if you can't learn to both appreciate and deal with yourself, you're going to have a bad time. That's the thing I had to do a lot, was learn how to just deal with myself. Yeah. I'm one of those people who can, in fact, I joked about it earlier, I can, in fact, be entertained in an empty room. I can just think about stuff. Sometimes I think about stuff too much. You're trying to make breakfast or catch a quick shower and you realize you've wasted 10 minutes because you were thinking about something else and you're like, fuck, do I need those 10 minutes back? Oh no, Axe is saying he's one of those. When does millennial stop, actually? Is he the post-millennial generation? I don't know. He's one of our patrons, Axe, is in chat and he's lamenting that he's attached to devices. Honestly, I'm usually attached to a device, but that's because, like I said, the alternative is that I'm stuck with myself and I'm real good at hanging out by myself, and sometimes without something else to distract me, I will get busy with myself thinking about stuff that doesn't matter right now.
Like, I'm glued to my device when I'm not doing anything. That sounds kind of weird, but like I like to go out and do stuff. Like I go out to bars.
Yeah, honestly, that makes sense. Like when I'm working on something, I can't, hang out with another device that doesn't work. So,
but like if I'm out like at a bar, like I'm talking to people, hanging out. Like I like to go hiking.
I mean, if I had the ability to go hiking or walking more often, I'd probably bring maybe some music or an audiobook or something. But that's just because I've developed a very specific way to split my attention.
Yeah, but I'm not like.
Yeah, I'm not on my phone checking Twitter.
Yeah.
When I'm sitting at my house, I have a Twitter tab open almost all the time, but that's because Twitter is a big news source for me, for people I follow and stuff. So it's like, is somebody posting something? Oh, no, Hideo Kojima just woke up somewhere and tweeted like 8 fucking things.
All movies.
Yeah, movies, TV, occasionally, very rarely video games, but mostly just I bought movies, or I met a movie guy, or I saw a movie in a theater, or something. No, Kojima's crazy. He just, I assume it's his assistant handling it too, because it's like specifically his English Twitter, so somebody's like transcribing all this shit. Because I'm pretty sure his English isn't great. But yeah, no, it's just such a, burst of stuff from him. And I'm like, fuck, Kojima, calm down. And he's like, no. I want to talk about movies. All right, that's fine, I guess.
That's
Hold on.
Passion.
Now I gotta look. What does my tweet schedule look like lately? There's my pinned tweet about Rolling Ishtar. I just retweeted something. I retweeted some stuff you're tweeting from the main account. I retweeted a giveaway because I'm trying to win games in a PS4 Pro. I retweeted the video we just put out. I retweeted some stuff from the new Enya Family, which I haven't had time to watch yet.
It's good.
I can tell it's good looking at it. Yeah, I'm hoping for more seasons. I retweeted it's mostly retweeting. Either I retweet main channel stuff or I retweet memes and fan arts and videos. Not all at once, though, usually. You have to go back a couple of days. Go ahead. Sorry. Go on.
Me, let's see here. I retweet titties, cute animals. Let's see here. I crack sarcastic jokes a lot.
So, not counting tweets that I'm retweeting that I wrote on the studio account, you have to go back a couple days to find my most recent original tweet, which is the 29th. I tweeted, super sleep, he's super sleepy, which is supposed to be sung to the tune of Super Freak. Because I was super tired and I had a tired thought.
Super sleepy, yeah.
Yeah, Lucky did it. I was talking a little bit over his sung. Rip you guys, because you want to hear that. But yeah, no, that was just... I was tired and I had a weird sleepy thought, so I decided to tweet it. That's what I use Twitter for. Alright, so I think the show's starting to wind down a little, but I got like maybe a couple more things to really talk about that I forgot about for a long time, which is weird because they were the one things I wanted to talk about.
Did you write it down?
Yes, actually, kind of. It's on a note card. I just wasn't looking at it for the longest time. And then I was like, wait, there was something. Yes. Most of them are mostly game design related, actually. So we're still going strong on our actual play from Ages of War. Mm-hmm. We got the third one's recorded, and the audio and stuff's already out for patrons. So if you're a patron listening to this one, you can scroll down a little bit and find it, and it's right there. And the video should go public before this one, like I said, because it's already uploaded and scheduled. So I think after the last one, like that was a kind of a point in the building characters where I was like, all right, so you guys have consistently said that you feel like your characters aren't quite diverse enough, and I'm like, okay, I think it's true. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fix this a little bit. So first of all, I readjusted some of the starting character things. So basically, how did I phrase it? Yeah, so I think, it's backgrounds give you slightly more stats, and then if they didn't give you a skill before, they definitely give you at least one skill. Mm-hmm. Some of which can be in groups. And the second was that careers, which mostly give you skills before, now also definitely give you a little stat, and definitely give you 2 skills, once again. So everybody got a few more skills, and before there was a rule that it was like, and they don't stack if you double up, and I was like, no, let's change that. If you would double up, they don't stack, but you can pick another skill of the same group instead. Yeah. So that gives you a little more flexibility, and gives you a lot more, like, it gives you a little extra boost so that, like, maybe we can cushion some rolls a little bit. Because obviously it's truly random, the dice. But, you know, you can always cushion a little bit. Like, your character got smarter.
I had to switch to fucking physical dice because the die roller that we were using in system, like, I consistently rolled above 80. I think I rolled full on 100.
Yeah,
computers
aren't truly random. I mean, dice aren't either, but I believe physical dice may be slightly more truly random than computers, just because they are entirely, like, chaotic based on your environmental conditions. Mm-hmm. The computer's just running a random number algorithm, so obviously it's going to have weirdness. Yeah. And that weirdness. So yeah, you switch to physical dice, but also it was just like, all right, okay, I need to improve this. And then I'm looking at the skill list, and I always have this concern. This is a game design thing. I'm like, should there be more skills? I always think about this. I'm like,
what kind of skills were you thinking?
More skills. So I actually have a list of some thoughts I'm trying to figure out whether or not I want to switch up skills. Which I figured was actually going to be my big topic, was to kind of like talk it through this. Because one of the things I did was I added a new skill group, which I called Trade Skills. Oh. So I changed it, I think mechanics is still a mental skill, but now it's also a trade skill. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's at least one of the backgrounds which gives you any trade skill you can train. Medication is a trade skill. Negotiation is a trade skill. Security is a trade skill. There might be somewhere I'm missing. So one of the things I'm thinking about doing is changing negotiation and just changing the name. I'll keep it as a social skill and a trade skill, but I want to change it to commerce. And kind of like, change up like the emphasis, because like negotiation comes up, sure, but also I kind of want to like be like, also like like it's supposed to be for buying, and it's to barter goods and services, to come to formal agreements and like form a contract. So this, like, I want to change it to be like, okay, here's your skill that covers formally buying and selling or trading for goods. Actually also doing like a formal agreement, like a contract as kind of like a formal deal. And also to just include your general understanding of business sense. Like you could roll it kind of like you would roll academics to be like, to understand this thing could be valuable. This is a, or understand like somebody's business model, stuff like that, to just expand the skill and kind of redefine it and maybe make it a little more appealing.
It like so it's like not just something you roll when you get a cheaper price, but to give you knowledge on business.
Yeah, it's not just something you roll to interact with people, but also you might roll it to gain like maybe new technical knowledge, to understand like this is a valuable thing we are defending or we have found or picked up, and also to understand like, oh, I'm interacting with a local business, like how do I deal with this? So that's like to just change the emphasis a little and make it more broad.
Yeah, I can see that.
So yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of why I made it a trade skills, because I'm thinking about maybe like switching that up, and like I said, switching up the emphasis. Because right now it says it says to it doesn't even explicitly say to buy or sell. It says to barter for goods and services, to come to formal agreements. So like, I feel like there could be points where you could just be straight up buying or selling your services, and you'd want to roll commerce to find like a fair marketplace to do that in, or understand stuff, right? Negotiation, I think, is written in the rules to do that a lot, but it's not actually in the skill description, so that's mostly what I'm focused on.
Yeah, well, sometimes just changing up how something sounds gives it a whole different kind of feel.
So another one that I'm constantly thinking about, because I'm wondering if it's soldiery enough, is I thought at first about sleight of hand, but now I think I want to take a page from Fantasy Flight Games and just call it general skullduggery, which is just shady stuff, the skill.
I feel like there's another word for besides skullduggery.
There might be, but I don't know what it is. But like basically, do you want to cheat at cards? Do you want to pick somebody's pocket? This would take because right now deception covers concealing something on your person, so I would be like, no, fuck that. That's skullduggery instead. Also, maybe stalking people. Security is still like detect traps, disarm traps, pick locks, build locks, because that's just how that works. But I was trying to think like, is that appropriate for this setting to be able to be like, yeah, no, you can learn like criminal stuff, like, because it would also have a note like, because I'm thinking it would probably be like an agi skill based, but it would be like, and you can roll this with int if you want to understand like criminal or underworld knowledge, like you want to understand how a criminal organization or operation works. And just like, does that make sense? It might, because I feel like you could do it with some of the skills we have now, but once again, it's kind of like why I introduced the carouse skill, which was just like, I need a general socialize skill to just handle generic social functions. And so carouse exists, because that wasn't a core skill.
Let's see here. Words. We got legerdemain, chicanery, artfulness, craftiness, conjuring, cunning, deceit, deception, hocus pocus, manipulation, trickery.
I mean, I kind of like skullduggery because it's very explicitly, yo, you're doing something shady.
Underhanded or unscrupulous behavior, trickery.
Yeah, it's basically what we're getting at.
Yeah.
Like I said, cheating, picking pockets. Stealth, honestly, stealth is something in this game that I'm always a little unsure of. Because, like, okay, so camouflage is the skill to hide yourself and hide objects and take cover. But moving silently is athletics with agility, which is... actually, I want to ask you about that. How do you feel about the fact that athletics is, like, the only skill that can tie off to... I mean, intimidation is special, but athletics is the only skill by default that ties to both strength or agility.
I'm okay with that.
All right. Because I feel like that's weird that that's the only skill that does that, but at the same time, it really works, because it's like I don't need to make you buy a whole nother fucking skill to be like acrobatic or something, right?
Yeah.
So I'm okay with
you're
that.
trained in how to use your body.
Yeah, I'm okay with that if the players are okay with. It makes sense to me. It's not weird or anything. So scratch that off actually. So that's like, but you know, I could see like taking Skullduggery and be like, okay, so you're not necessarily good at moving quietly, but you could do it to shadow someone, to be like, you can follow somebody at a safe distance in like a crowd or something without needing to worry about all that stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Like just from
Subterfuge is good.
Say that, but just from knowing, like, following someone in a crowd and not having them notice them is completely different from actually following someone and not trying to make a noise.
Yeah, and that's what technically athletics would still cover, is like, if you need to quietly scooch across some terrain, that's athletics, to like pick your footing correctly, you know, move your balance your weight properly, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
control your breathing.
It's like you basically are watching this person. Like when they look back, you maybe like scooch so you don't look like you're doing anything suspicious and stuff like that. So yeah, I can see that totally being different.
Yeah, so that's a skill I'm thinking of adding as like a trade skill, and like swatch out some of the way, like because I think criminal gets to pick deception, or if you have a criminal background, you pick deception or security. While security can make sense, I think maybe Skullduggery as an option would be better. Like, are you a sneaky criminal, or are you like a con man kind of thing?
Yeah.
And you could very much take it as a skill to be like, okay, I know how to cheat at cards now. I know how to palm something or pick somebody's pocket, and be different than necessarily the social aspects of deception. I'm gonna put a check mark by Skullduggery. So there's another thing that this is a concern I just have looking at the meta of my game. This is not like commerce is like, okay, I want to change that so that maybe players get more applications out of a skill, right? That's not making a new skill, that's changing an existing skill. Skullduggery is, I want to add a new skill to add another dimension, to be like, okay, here's the explicit rule that covers you roll this skill when you want to do these things, which are not necessarily covered by other skills.
Yeah.
This is one that this is why I really want your input. I don't even know if players want this type of skill. I'm thinking about a skill that would either be called labor or craft, and that's basically just a catch-all for doing work of some kind. Like, it always wonders to me that, like, that's not a skill. Would that be just a stat test? Should I make it a skill? If people have to build something, you know, make something that's not mechanical necessarily, just to have a skill in how to lift heavy things or do rote work over and over again. I'm constantly asking myself as the game designer, is this actually a thing players need to worry about? Because if I put the skill in, then it's definitely like, okay, for sure, it's a thing. People are going to roll it, and if they don't have it, they're going to suffer penalties.
I think the best thing you do is actually try to roll, like, a couple things. Because remember in D&D, you had craft, and then you had profession?
Yeah, profession is actually another way I was thinking of this, is like, should I just have a... Because the way it would work is, because right now, one of the backgrounds is called student, and you get academics trained, but then you get a special ability, which is like, you have an academic specialty, which is you get a bonus when you're rolling in your specific field of study. There is another background called craftsman, which has that ability, but there's not necessarily a skill test, it's just any sort of skill test that would happen to coincide with whatever your craft is. So yeah, I don't know if, like, that would be, like, to make profession a profession, or, like I said, like, labor a basic-ass skill, and then it's like, okay, if you took craftsman, you get a special bonus, which is like, you are specifically trained in a specific craft, so you can say, like, I was a carpenter, so any of your profession or craft roles related to carpentry get a big bonus, because, hey, you fucking know what you're doing.
Yeah, but I was saying, like, you just basically take it and you make it so that, like, it's present that you can make something and you can make money from doing said something. It's more like a domestic kind of skill. Sure, maybe you can even add, like, a little bit of that. It's like, you know how to, like, it's something you know how to, God, how I'm trying to think this. Like,
Yeah, no, I could definitely phrase what the idea you're thinking of is, like, you know how to make money at your skill, like how to properly assess the value of your profession or what you create, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, yeah, and the only problem I see with that is then it might be a little bit too much of a catch-all if someone's trained in it. Like, if they're trained in it, can they just make whatever? Like, do they have to specify what their craftsman, like their craft, whatever is, or something, because that's not something that's done with academics. Academics is kind of like a catch-all right now.
Right. Well, and that's honestly because I added that because I was like, because once again, this has like been through several iterations. Academics wasn't a skill in the very first thing because in that very first Halo game that I playtested that I based a lot of this stuff on, you didn't do anything but shoot, gun, shoot, pilot, gun, basically. Though for some reason gambling was a standalone skill, and I was like, okay, that's a little weird. But there's no like skill to be smarty pants. So academics became a catch-all skill I added. Was like, okay, this is your character generally knows their way around a book or something.
Mm-hmm.
You can conduct research to gain new information. You can roll your academics to understand your information. You can use it to translate languages. I also added a footnote that wasn't there before, that is like, if you need to know about magical theory and folkloric knowledge, that's also academics. Because spellcraft is supposed to be a little bit more practical. It's like if you want to tell, if you're like, I see a spell array on the ground, what does that spell array do? That's spellcraft. But if you're like, so theoretically, has somebody ever made a spell to do blah blah blah? That could be academics, because you're basically remembering history. But like I said, with academics, there is that special ability you can get as a background as a student to say, hey, you were basically a scholar before your pre-military life, so you have a specific field of study that way that gives you a bonus. But you're generally familiar with the concept behind all kinds of academic knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So I could treat a profession or craft the same way, because like I said, the craftsman has the craft. You designate the nature of your craft, and then you gain a plus 20 to all rolls to perform that craft.
Yeah, I guess that works.
And that would be how to... Because part of the reason why I want to add it is because mechanics is currently a little bit weird. It's the... Mechanics is used to repair and use complex devices. It even says explicitly in the mechanics description, using anything other than clearly labeled buttons requires a mechanics test, because you have to know what you're doing. If you're operating an elevator and the button says up or down, you're like, okay, I understand this. More than that, you're like, I don't fucking know. Because really, this is a time when people would not be tech literate.
No, not really. Literacy was still really down too, if I remember correctly.
No, honestly, yeah. Which is why you can, even as a person who commands the fundamental powers of magic, you can take an illiterate quirk and be like, yeah, you don't read good. I think
magic.
it's either take a big penalty or like half your skills whenever it comes to making a roll related to reading something. But yeah, so... But basically that's like, but mechanics is also to like build stuff, and I'm like, is that really right? So yeah, that's kind of like a question I wanted to answer. And if once again, bouncing ideas off you and even off our audience, because we got a couple of people in chat who have thrown some stuff back and forth. Talking out this game design stuff is really important to me. So should I put a check mark by craft then?
Yeah.
All right.
I think it works. I think it might need some tuning.
It'll probably need some playtesting to figure out the exact scope and scale.
Yeah, but no, it's still useful because, like, back in Star Wars, remember, I loved fucking making shit.
Yeah.
Like, when they came out with, like, the rules for crafting, I was like, this is all mine, and I'm going to make everything ever. And then I broke everything, and nothing was safe ever again.
Well, I mean, you guys really did that when we figured out that mechanics was also the skill keyed to explosives, which is not a problem this system has. I made demo its own skill. Which was, you figured out it was relatively cheap to acquire lots of bombs and stick them to things, and if you stuck several of them together, you got a pretty big boom, and that's how you guys solved a lot of problems.
I always made sure to make sure I had a stock of, like, I think it was just 5 bombs, so I could always just make that one giant satchel charge and be like, I'm solving this problem right now.
Yep.
The plans never started with me blowing something up, but that's how they usually ended, because they never go the way I wanted them to, and I was all like, well, guess what happens now?
The joys of winging it. Oh, I can totally run a con scheme on these guys. What's your deception score? I got some green dice.
Time for explosives.
We'll just transition. It'll stop being Ocean's 11 and be some other heist movie halfway through.
That's something, because this is talk about like play styles. I am definitely a person who likes to come up with plans and try to do something cool and interesting. Unfortunately, that cool and interesting thing doesn't always happen, and I have to start resorting to winging it like halfway through, which still makes it cool and interesting, just not in the same kind of way.
Yeah, and a lot of that's just, hey, there's randomization in this, because honestly, if you got your way all the time, the story could get boring.
Yeah.
So I have one more skill. This is another kind of like hypothetical thing, and I'm thinking, okay. And honestly, like, the name probably needs work, because I wrote it down as a very in-theme word, as mentalism, because that's what the time phrase was. But I'm like, basically, there's no psychology skill equivalent. You can kind of roll awareness or investigation, especially mostly investigation, to like read people or oppose lies. But I was thinking about this, and like, there's no real way to analyze people, and especially now that you can just pick a disorder that is indefinite at character creation, as you have done and Martha's done. Ah, shit, I should have made him roll phobia for flying again last night. I forgot. Oh well, he forgot to. Yeah, I need to make sure to keep notes. Like, all right, you have night terrors. He has a phobia of flying, because he's an air mage in a flying unit, and I need to remember, because you guys both wanted that sweet XP.
Yeah.
But so the concern is, like, there's no mental health skill. I added a background where you can basically have been a psychotherapist before you were in the military, which lets you roll appeal to help people get over, like, failed fear tests, in, like, the moment. But do I need a skill to actually handle mental health like medication handles physical health? Or do I just make that medication, which I could always do? But the bonus of having it be its own skill is then also, is that skill used to, like, actually run psychoanalysis on people? Like, you could maybe argue tactic could help you in that some, but do we need a skill to be like, okay, you can figure out what this guy's hopes and dreams and fears are, and
okay, shut up.
Sorry.
Basically, what it basically sounds like you want the empathy skill.
Basically.
Yeah, and that's fucking right. It's just, the thing is, you just don't tie that to you reading it. You also tie that to social situations. Can you read a room? Can you gauge if someone's lying? Can you understand, like, someone is trying to, like, give you some sort of hint or a secret or stuff? And yeah, it can still be tied to, like, what is, like, getting under this guy's skin, like, what.
Well, yeah, basically, I'm honestly, I think you calling it empathy, that's way better than what I was thinking.
Yeah,
that could actually be, that's a good simple skill name, like evasion or athletics, empathy.
That's why I had to tell you to shut up, because I'm like, God, I know what you want, and you're just quiet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was still talking through the problem. You solved the problem, but that's why I need external input. So I assume that's an approval that you as a player are like, yeah, no, that's a great skill.
Yeah, just empathy, because then it also gives you kind of because there's social conflict is a thing that I actually kind of enjoy. I'm not the greatest at it, especially in tabletop, but if you've seen our Let's Plays, I'm the guy who talks a lot. And but sometimes you have to have be able to see a skill, and it's like, I want to know, is this guy lying to me? Like, is he hiding something from me? Like, who is the most nervous person in this room, maybe, or something?
Yeah, and I, as the guy who wrote the system, I could probably wing that as one of my other skills. That probably would have been investigation before, for instance.
Yeah, but having it as its own thing as empathy means you are trained to see these things and understand people.
You listed a lot of good sample uses to be like, oh yeah, no, read a group of people, read a single person. One thing I was thinking of was you could. A use would be to understand how people will react to certain stimuli. So, because not all people are the same. You can't go, other than the random nature of the fear test, you can't necessarily go, okay, what is this guy going to do if I shoot at him? Some people will try and shoot back, some people will try to run and hide, and this would be kind of okay, what's this guy's, personality type? What's he going to do if I do X? Which is a perfect call for a roll, and I'm like,
yeah, so what we're thinking isn't the perfect example of empathy, because empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. But I think it's close enough.
I mean, if I write empathy and I write a skill description of it, I think people would understand what it means, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that was our game design corner. That was all these skill suggestions, because talking with you, I already scratched off whether or not I wanted to split athletics into strictly strength and strictly agility.
Nah.
I'm like, nah, it's better that way. because honestly, I like it because it's simpler. Because you don't want skill bloat. Like, you want all your skills to do something distinct and actually be meaningful. And that's kind of why this discussion came up, because I'm like, are there more things that can be distinct and meaningful I can add here that actually help the experience?
Ah, shit, that means I'm gonna have to buy empathy.
Heck. Well, you got some skills moving around. Also, you might not have to. I have to, like, after I redesigned them once, now I have to redesign everything again because I'm adding, like, 4 more skills.
I was like, well, I was like, you fix the thing with, like, basic skills, but there's still, like, you still have an image. For instance, like, I want to be, like, trained in, like, all the social skills, like, even if I'm not doing social things. Because the moment I feel like, nah, I don't need social skills, we're gonna have to go to, like, some sort of, like, political dinner or some shit, and I'm gonna have to fucking tango, like, wordplay with the fucking Federation or the Commonwealth and be all like, I really wish I had some social skills right now. I fucking love political drama. I think it's great.
You're gonna do great at L5R if we ever start that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that's the other game design bullet point I wanted to cover. I finished my adventure. Yay. And I finished all 7 pre-gens for it. Yes, there are 7 pre-gens. Not that I know if I'd God, I can't imagine actually getting 7 people to sit down and be in a game with me. I don't know if that would be amazing or terrifying. But I wrote 7 pre-gens, 1 from each of the great clans, and they're all many varieties of characters. And they're all free to be shared, so I could share them. Can I actually share the whole folder? Yes, I can. Okay, cool. I can share the whole folder. Blur. Does this work? Google, does that open the folder correctly? Welcome to how you know, once again, that our show is live, is we're doing stuff. Okay, it does. Okay, cool. So people can look at pre-gens now. So I made a whole bunch. I made 1 for each great clan, like I said, and they're a wide variety of specialties. And hold on, you're being, I think, pithy at me on Twitter.
Yep.
That is slightly hilarious and ironic that I was in the middle of a monologue, you tweeted something snarky about me monologuing, and I immediately shot back. But the joke is that, yes, if you actually shot me a text, I would totally notice if you were, like, zoned out or something. When you're silent, though, that's just, are you just being polite, or have we lost people? The great questions of our time. So actually, here's another thing I'll ask you, since I'm still talking a lot, but I think this is basically the end of the show if I stop talking about this, unless you have thought of something else to add in this time period.
Nope, I got like an hour, and I gotta start thinking about being fucking fancy.
So basically, would you think you or in the audience would be interested in me kind of, like, briefly capping these characters I wrote to, like, kind of, like, talk about them? Because if not, that's fine, because I shared the folder, and that means I probably need to put the folder in the video description.
I don't mind, like, if we put a bullet in it and talk about it next week.
Okay, we can talk about it next week. We're running out of time.
I'm doing that thing where I keep glancing at the clock, like,
no, that's fair. If you're like, even if you don't need to go, if you're feeling like the time pressure, that's fine. I know that feeling a lot.
Yeah.
So
I have to go out and be social.
Yeah, we're at about like an hour 45. We can wind it down here. Let it wrap.
Like I tell people, I go out and do stuff, but that doesn't mean I have to spend like 2 hours beforehand saying, like, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out. I literally have to psych myself up to do this.
Yeah, I know that fucking feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I gotta go out later. I gotta base my whole day around the fact that I have to go do something later.
Yep.
So I will just in the patron chat, I'll dump the folder so people can read them at their own pleasure. When this video goes live, hopefully that link will be in the description. If it's not in the description, yell at me in the comments. I will fix that. We're not afraid to do that. Did you talk about that this week?
What?
That somebody asked about show notes and you got spicy.
Oh yeah, I did get spicy. So like, I guess this will be my ending note. So last week's Let's Talk FGO, not this weekend's last one. Someone just said, where are my time nodes? And I saw that and I was all like, oh hell no. So I'm like, all right, how do I want to handle it? Do I want to be nice? Do I want to be mean, sassy, cynical? Let's be a little bit sassy, but let's not be mean. So I basically just said, Lucky has to go to Walmart to get them. That's all I said. And then in the actual show notes, I made every single fucking one of them food related. Yep.
Which was hilarious, by the way. I think we've talked about this before. Like, we've talked about this. The spontaneity on the show is one thing, but when Editor Lucky has time to think about his jokes,
yeah, no,
he gets some zingers in.
Let's see here. Here it is. Let's pull up. I'll pull them up. I'll read them out loud for you guys. Yes, they're called Editor Lucky's Hot and Fresh Daily Show Notes. We have the sweet and spicy introductions. Wake the Fuck Up Senpai with extra marshmallows. Succulent records from the throw with tangy barbecue glaze. The Thanksgiving like and share campaign out of cranberry and gravy. The Little Saunter Outdoor Announced comes with a free side of Precious Ollies. New meal, Lost Belt number 3 Sin intro, good for a cold winter's day. Holiday and Christmas 2018 pregame topped with whipped cream and fudge. Spicy and flavorful, teach me Mega Sensei, what is reality marble? Final thoughts meal comes with the main course of shilling inside of professional sleepy boys.
You have summed up our entire careers just there.
Yeah. I just said, like, that's the thing. It's like, I'm definitely one of those people who, like, in the moment of me talking, I just say whatever comes to mind. I don't think about it. But when I sit down and be all like, all right, how do I want to do this? I can create. So I am a creator. I just can't create in the moment.
Yep.
Something like that. I don't know. But that's my, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps up the show.
I just realized you put Jailter in the fucking tags.
Yes. I don't even know how people can look at the tags, but oh my god, sometimes I have a lot of fun with the tags. I'm trying to catch people searching for stuff. So
Jailter.
Yeah. I think somebody even commented that we could just do that. I'm like, I'm not gonna say that out loud as like an official nickname. But if you're searching for it, I'll find you. I'll get you. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how easy it is for other people to look at the tags and metadata, but if you find a way to do that easy, you should sometimes, because some of them are funny. I think our last... Our episode number 2 of the AP, I put, yes, spellcraft actually happens in this episode. Because I think, like, in the first one, in the whole, like, 2 hours, you only once rolled spellcraft to barrier, and that was it. Nobody did any other, like, serious magic stuff, not even with bullets or anything. But in the second episode, lots of magic actually happened.
Marth exploded his clothes.
Oh, yeah. He blew himself up. Again. He actually did that before. And that game's actually recorded, too. That's the Scythian front. So, yeah, you can go listen for that back. I'm so glad I wrote the magic mishap tables. They're great.
You always get so excited, too.
Well, because it feels like it doesn't happen for, like, forever. So, like, in 3 whole sessions, both of which are minimum 2 hours each, it only happened once, right? Like, it happened one time in, like, 6.5 hours of content. So I'm like, ooh, yay. They're just so fun. But luckily, if you pass, they're not a huge deal. If you fail, oh god, yeah. Some of them are nasty. I based them on lots of my favorite weird magic stuff.
Alright, well, I think we're gonna call it good.
Yeah, we're gonna call that an episode.
Yeah.
Hey, Lucky told the story at the start, so, like, we're sorry if this is a little short for you, but it's almost 2 hours, so, deal with it. That's life. So, if you like this episode, please give it a like. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below, where we will talk about them, maybe heart you, reply to you. Also, you can join our Discord, you can, join our live chats there, and, chat to people about any old thing. You like books, you like anime, you like gacha games, we got stuff for that. And, of course, if you are new here and have not already, please subscribe to our channel so you can always get our latest videos. And even if you are already subscribed, don't forget to that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video. Someday we'll have a posting schedule you can count on. But today's not that day. And, of course, as it says at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to this episode right away in audio format, downloadable instantly after we're done recording it, and I fiddle with the audio a little bit, for just $1 a month. It's so cheap. My god. Our prices are incredibly economical. And also you can get lots of other stuff. You can, if you go high enough, you can even be in the chat live, like some people were this episode, and talk with us as we record the show and other stuff. And yeah, that's it. We're done with the show. We hope you had fun. We did fun entertainment stuff, and also we did lots of real life stuff. And we'll see you in whatever form the next video is. Whatever that is.
Whatever that is. I gotta go turn into a socially acceptable creature now.